Well, the COVID-19 outbreak is hitting Indonesia. It seems some important piece of information are missing. The coronavirus comes from the ribovirus family, that of the common cold virus. There are several variants of coronavirus, which can cause anything from a common cold to more severe pneumonia. However, COVID-19, which is caused by the SARS CoV2 virus, has more dramatic consequences. Nevertheless, this relation with the cold virus will be interesting to study. As a mother of scientists all around the world, the debate for the potential impact of climate on the spread of COVID-19. While there is no strong evidence at the moment, it is important to note that it might not diffuse well in tropical areas. Cold are more common in winter because of the tropics of the virus for cold mucous membrane, which is at 33 degrees Celsius. Also, worthy of note is that, according to Pascal Creepy, an epidemiologist at the École des Études de Santé Publique, Rennes, France, influenza progress depends on social media. Both in the northern and southern hemispheres, and this could very be the case at will for the COVID-19 coronavirus. The fact is that currently the epicenter of the epidemic has shifted from China to Europe, with a significant impact in Italy, where there were already 3,405 dead and 41,035 cases of the contamination as of March 20. The death rate seems even higher than in Wuhan, China. It shall be borne in mind that 25% of the Italian population is aged above 60, which might be an important factor, as it seems that the mortality rate is much higher for the elderly. Comorbidity factors are also essential to take into account: diabetes, obesitas, hypertension, smoking, asthma, pulmonary weakness, and other factors involving weakness of the immune system. Second, about the lethality percentage. To what extent will the coronavirus overcome the impact of a superflu, like the epidemic that ravaged the south of France in 1720? A termination at quarter of the population, 100,000 dead out of the total population of 400,000. Be careful not to confuse the death rate reported for the number of cases identified with the rate reported for the total population. The discrepancy is huge, and yet the amalgam is often made, giving a sensation effect. We forget that a very large part of the infection are healthy carriers. That is to say, asymptomatic. The virus has passed through them and they will develop immunity, but will not be sick. People without symptoms have to be taken into account, and that half of the people infected. Only a portion of the global population will be infected, far from the total, which also lower the lethality percentage. Overall, far less than 1 per million people can be expected to die from the disease. Still on the subject of this mortality rate, saying that on TV is impressive. Hospitals are under pressure in Italy, but it must be borne in mind that the simple flu also kills hundreds of thousands every year, without any land on front page. In its impact is spread over 6 months in winter, while this coronavirus might is blitzkrieg in just 2 months. Thus it deserves extreme panic to the point of paralyzing the entire planet. This is still an open question because the COVID-19 pandemic is not over, not yet. But still, this figure from China, Thailand, and South Korea show that the order of magnitude is a few thousand dead, not tens of thousands, less alone hundreds of thousands. The question deserves to the set because an extreme economic impact also mean consultati. Directly struck famine in the most fragile country, or indirectly struck a reduction in the quality of health care for population impoverished, such by bankruptcies. How useful is it to drastically confine population? According to epidemiological simulation, it makes a significant impact is undertaken very early. In Italy and France, the drastic measure arrived far too late to change the situation. But with the enormous advance of estimating the number of cases requiring hospitalizing over time, the flow of the patient will be slower down. This is of good measure in order to fight overload the capacity of the health service. The number of respirators is limited. 5,000 in France. What lesson can Indonesia learn? Again, it should remember that the flu kills tens of thousands of people annually. Even if COVID-19 is 2 or 3 times worse, it does not seem that the order of magnitude will be radically great. Indonesia is a tropical country, and it seems that the climate may have an impact, making the advent of the virus becoming which spear less likely. Its population is young, so the vast majority of infection people will resist will. Physical distancing is important and slow the progress of the virus, but it will in any case contaminate and larger part of the population. The measures taken by the government are good, and the people should not panic. Since it not a modern plague. Much more drastic measures will have the third equality deadly should affect the improvement of the little people and a significant increase in the price of essential material. A final point, last but not least, is very important. French biology class Bernard said, "The microbiome is not, the group is everything, not the virus. It is how the immune system will be able to manage that matter. How to strengthen your immune system and increase your chance of resistant COVID-19 and all other possible infection? This is the essential question that shall be asked."